Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's webinar, Learner to Leader, Boosting Your Employability. My name's Claire Arscott. I'm one of the event managers at CMI. I'll shortly be handing over to Joe Lavelle, our Student Engagement Manager. Just a reminder to use the chat facility on the right-hand side to interact with each other and ask Joe any questions. And we'll endeavour to answer as many questions as we can on the webinar today. So without further ado, I will hand over to Joe.
Brilliant. Thank you, Claire. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on today's session. Today's session is about CMI's resources and how we can use them and how you can utilise them to support your employability. So whether you're on a current CMI qualification or you're about to complete one, and you might already be in the workplace, or you might be thinking about transitioning into perhaps a graduate career or to a new role, CMI have got loads of resources that can really make the most of your skills and your abilities to make sure that you're really high performing going into those roles, but also that you're making the most of your career using what we've got available to you through CMI. But first, I'd just like to do a quick poll. So if you're able to either in a different window on device you're on, a different tab, or by using a second device, go to pollev.com/CMI events. We're running a quick interactive poll, and it'd be really helpful for me to gauge some of the knowledge that you already have around CMI. So if you are able to go to that, that you should see the following question, which on a scale of 0 being nothing, 5 being expert, how would you rate your knowledge of CMI and the sort of things that we do? If you're able to go through and click on that for me, that'd be really helpful. I'll give it a few minutes for some of those results to start coming in. And so just to introduce myself for you guys. So as Claire said, I'm Joe Lavelle. I am the Student Engagement Manager at CMI. And one of the things that we are trying to develop is more opportunities to engage our learners with more of our resources. So you've got this session today. It's been as part of the Learner to Leader series. We're doing this. There's another one coming up next week on the 27th around sort of how you can utilise some of these resources in the workplace. So please do keep an eye out for that one. Results are flooding in, which is excellent. So we've got 0, some 2s, majority 2s, and 3s and 4s, which is excellent. Okay, that's really helpful for you to know. Hopefully this will give you more information and more context as to how to use your qualification and your membership to really make the most of the resources you've got available to you. And hopefully we'll give you some more knowledge generally as to sort of who CMI are and the activity that is going on. We'll be using Pollev later in this session as well. So if you've got it open, then please keep it handy. So who are CMI then? CMI are the Chartered Management Institute. We've existed for over 60 years. And our aim is to eradicate what we call and what is known as the accidental manager. Now, the accidental manager is in almost every sector that you can think of. And there's someone who's promoted to do a role with management responsibility, whether that's over people, projects, or resources. And they haven't been given the training necessarily that they need for those really important management skills. So they might have been promoted due to maybe length of service, or they're really technically qualified. But without those management skills, they won't be as high performing as they're needed to be. This isn't their fault, and it's also really common. 4 out of 5 managers are known to be accidental managers. And what CMI do is we provide training and qualifications that are aligned to our professional standards to really ensure that managers have those skills that we know that they need. The professional standards are on your screen. They're the wheel that you can see. There are 9 key areas that we align our activity against, and we break them down into 3 main sections: organisational performance, personal effectiveness, and interpersonal excellence. We know this is what makes a manager a better manager, and we want to enable you to get the key skills in these areas and make the most of them, develop them, so then you can ultimately become a chartered manager throughout your career. Chartered Manager is a chartered recognition of your management skills. It's a reflective exercise that you undertake, whether you've got 3 or 5 years of management experience, to demonstrate to your employers and colleagues that you're meeting those industry standards as a manager. We'll touch on this a bit later in the presentation, but we know that chartered managers boost business revenues by £62,000 a year, and there's a £22,000 boost in the UK economy from each chartered manager. So it's really well worth you doing for both your organisation and for the wider UK productivity. We also help with, CMI also help with research, policy and qualifications as well. So we are there to support you when you need us the most, with examples being some of our work around coronavirus or around Brexit. We're providing managers and leaders with those resources at real times of difficulty to make sure that they have got skills that are applicable to the workplace. Now, this series is sort of being pitched at our learner community. And as a CMI learner, there's 3 ways that you might be associated with us. You might be on a dual accredited university course. This is where we look at your university degree and we map it against the learning outcome needed for our qualifications. And we see where the crossover is. And this means you will automatically get a CMI qualification once you graduate, because we know from looking at both things that by studying on the course, you're achieving the same learning outcomes as you would from one of our qualifications. You'll be a CMI member throughout your course, throughout the time you're doing your accredited modules, and you get access to CMI's resources to help you with both your CMI qualification and your university degree. You might be doing a CMI apprenticeship, or CMI might be providing your endpoint assessment, or you might just be doing a standalone CMI qualification alongside your career. CMI offer qualifications from level 2 to level 8, and we deal with a whole range of management skills and practices. If you've completed one course and you're interested to continue your learning, there will be a pathway for you. There's also different options for membership at the end of your course and different ways that you can make the most of your qualifications. And we'll touch upon these again a little later in the session. What you can see in front of you is a slide sort of with the career journey you might undertake with CMI. And hopefully you can identify yourself somewhere upon this journey. But the key is that CMI can support you at every stage. So you might be an aspiring manager, or you might be a first line manager, or you might be a CEO. You can see through this graphic exactly how CMI's support changes depending on what level of career you're at, and can remain a partner with you throughout the entire length of your career. With our resources, our support, and ultimately that chartered status, you can really maximize your management potential and ensure you're delivering a real impact in the workplace. Now, today's session is, as we've spoken about, it's around employability. And what I want to do is show you the employability resources available to you, particularly through the Career Development Centre. The Career Development Centre is one of the suites of online resources you get access to as a member of CMI, and you can access it through either Management Direct, or I believe Claire has put a link to it in the comments or on the ticker that should be below this, this slide. There's all sorts of there it is, excellent. There's all sorts of different tools available to you through the Career Development Centre. As we spoke about earlier, this could be whether you're already in the workplace or you're trying to get into the workplace. So please don't think that it's just for people trying to get jobs, or particularly just for graduates. It really is for each of our members, no matter what stage they are in their career, and really applicable to all. So if I just stop sharing my screen for a second. There I am, it's just me. And start showing you the screen with the Career Development Centre on. You should now be able to see it. There it is. So welcome to the Career Development Centre. This is what is known as your dashboard. So this is that first area on the left-hand side of the menu bar going across the top. We have a scrolling banner at the top, which gives you some really topical and relevant insight that is new from the CDC providers. We have your latest news, links to find out more about CMI, as well as your progress against any qualifications or any work you might be doing on the site. These 8 tabs here are really good ways to find quickly find information and resources that are relevant to either of those particular areas. So whether you are thinking about your self-development or your leadership, or you are perhaps thinking about applying for jobs, so thinking about the CV, job applications or interviews, these 8 tiles give you some shortcuts to some of our resources. So for example, in the workplace, here is a lot of different tools that you might be looking for to help develop your skills in the workplace. Everything that is available through those 8 tools, we're going to demonstrate in a different way for you. There's a ways you can access them through going along this top bar along here. And that's the way that we will be showing how you can access. So please do explore these 8 tools and see what you would like to use. There's also a link here for Management Direct. Management Direct is our online resource portal, giving you things like models and checklists and articles. They can really help with the theory behind your studies, but also gives you some practical things you can apply in the workplace as well. We did a session on making the most of Management Direct last week, and also we'll be touching upon it next week again when we think about how you can apply your membership in the workplace. So if you'd like to find out more, either have a look at last week's session or stay around for next week's as well. Okay, so that's your dashboard. The first thing I want to show you then is the CMI Learning Hub. CMI Learning Hub is the home of e-learning modules within the Career Development Centre. Now, there's e-learning here for those of you who are both trying to get roles and thinking about how you can develop your applications, but also once you're in roles as well, think about how you can develop yourself to make yourself more productive and happier within your career, or think about moving on to the next step. Three things I really want to highlight. The first one is learning paths. So learning paths are available here on the left-hand side. Now, if you know there's a certain thing you are looking for that's available in these learning paths, we've got curated journeys already available for you with resources you can look at. So for example, you might be about to start a new role. Click on new role. Getting on board could be a relevant thing for you to do. And here is our learning path that is specifically designed for those people who are starting in new roles. For example, it's how to build your reputations, do's and don'ts of starting a new role, all the way to 5 tricks to remembering someone's name. There's lots of quick information you can do here. So if you are perhaps commuting somewhere, or you're about to go somewhere, so just perhaps doing some quick CPD activity, there's a lot of things here that really won't take that long for you at all. For example, you can look at the clock, and this tells you exactly how long it will take to undertake that task. If the learning paths aren't exactly what you are looking for, if you look on the left-hand side, scroll down, we have topics as well. Now, these might give you more indications of the resources we have available. So, for example, I am trying to develop my decision-making in the workplace. I would go to the topic on decision-making, click on that, and it will bring up the resources there that are available for me. Now, some of these are slightly longer, as you can see. This is a 20-minute video on taking action. So we do have them depending on the amount of time and the resource you particularly require. If the thing I'm looking for isn't a learning path and it's not available here in topics, we can search for it as well. So one of the things I might be doing is looking at, I'm doing more project work. So if I search for project, let's see what comes up. Here's all the resources available for doing projects. So we've got a learning path specifically for project management, but also we have all of these different resources available down here for helping you with projects. So feel free to either find what you're looking for through the learning paths, the topics, or by searching it in that search bar. On the Learning Hub as well, we have advice. Now, we know that a lot of things that our members value about CMI is getting that expert opinions from the community. The employer advice, which I'll click on now, a series of videos around certain topics from both HR professionals and managers on different ways that you can develop your career. So if you are perhaps looking to get a new role, you might be doing some work with recruiters. Working with recruiters is one of the employer advice sections we've got available. And here we've got some videos that will really help you on using recruiters to get your new role. Again, if there's something you're really interested in that you can't see, use the search bar and it should hopefully bring some more things up for you. If you aren't into videos, we've got written advice as well. So we have an A to Z library of careers advice for different stages. So if you are managing your career, we've got them here, CVs, interviews, lots of different ways that you can access these resources. So you've got either video format through the employee videos or through these written resources as well. Finally, if you are perhaps looking to get into a new sector, so this might be really good for graduates or people thinking about particular career changes that they might be interested in, you can go to the Learning Hub and to industry reports. Now, I am thinking about a career in accountancy because it's at the top of the alphabet and they're available to me. What this industry report does, it gives you some really important information about working in that sector. So you get an overview with some key trends that are happening in that sector. A SWOT analysis, so you can really understand the challenges and nuances of working in that sector. Different things you might want to consider about working there. Key recruiters, key useful websites that you might be looking at. and some of the top companies as well. So it really is quite a comprehensive view as to what the sector looks like. So make sure you are fully aware of all of the different companies that are operating in that sector and different ways you can get into it, particularly if you're looking at a change. So that's the Learning Hub. There's lots of resources there. Again, I implore you to go and have a look and explore it for yourself. I think there's some really good ways that you can develop your skills through that Learning Hub. Next thing I want to talk about is My Career. Now, the My Career tab that you can see here has some key ways that you can really reflect upon the practice that you are doing and the work you are undertaking, and think about how you could perhaps make yourself more productive and make your work-life balance happier, or your workplace happiness increase. We've got some cool tools as well. So the Career Wellbeing Program. This is a structured learning program for you. We know that a lot of people spend, as it says here, a third of our lives working. So the way that we feel about our career has a really big impact upon the rest of our lives. So the key skills that you can develop here will really help you with making a happier, healthier, more productive and more successful career. There's 8 tasks you need to complete as part of this program, and within there's a whole series of actions. So you might be required to think more about your self-awareness. Click upon self-awareness. It gives you your key learning outcomes and then some actions you can undertake. Now, you only need to do 5 of them to complete the Career Wellbeing Program, so make sure you're choosing the right ones that are relevant for you. But I think what's really important about here is you've got the notes option at the end. You've got the opportunity to add some notes and really reflect upon that learning. So it's not just a case of, this is the things I've learned. How can you really apply that into the workplace, and what can you really take forward from this piece of learning that will then have that impact upon your career? We have career assessments as well. Now, these are ways that you can get some really interesting reports upon your learning styles that you can then directly apply into your workplace. So stress management is something you might be interested in. You can take that assessment, 25 short questions for you to answer on stress management, but you will then, based on the answers that you give, get personalized recommendations for how you can better handle certain situations, particularly for this case regarding stress management, and how you can then hopefully deal with that better in the future. There's quite a lot of different career assessments. Again, have a look and explore. There'll be one that is right for you. Each one takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete, and you then get those practical and personal tips for you to apply moving forward. That was found under My Career, Career Assessments. For graduates, if you are thinking about how people get into the roles they want to, so you might see someone really aspirational, and you might think, oh, I really want to get into that job. How have they done it themselves? Or perhaps you're thinking you're already in the workplace, you've completed your CMI qualification, and you think about how you can utilize it and make the most of it. I really think you should look at the career pathways section. The career pathways gives you some case studies of people who have been there and done that. So you can see exactly what it is that they've done and think about how you can apply that to your situation. So for example, I'd like to work in cars and automotives. Here's some videos from people who are working in those industries. Tell me exactly what it is that they've done, exactly the path that they have undertaken. And then you can think about how you can apply your experience and your skills, where you need to develop, and how you can get to ultimately where you would like to go. Again, give it a search. If there's something you are keen to find out more about, use the search bar and find out more about the jobs that are available for you. Once you've done that career pathway, you might want to think about setting yourself some goals or targets. We have the career planner here, which is available for you, where you can add some tasks, add some due dates, and mark off whether you've done them. So you can set yourself that plan as to how you can exactly get the career that you're looking for and the things you need to undertake in order to get there. So all of that stuff's under My Career, as we've said. It's a real way for you to take ownership of your career. And that's a lot of what we talk about in CMI, is that you can really own your learning and development and your professional development, and make sure that you are making the most of the opportunities that you've got available to you. And next, we'll move on to My Tools. So My Tools are less reflective, and they're more practical things that you can use either looking for jobs or to boost perhaps your personal brand and your skills in certain situations. And the first thing we want to go through is the CV builder. So CMI has a CV builder that is available for you to use, and it key thing is it develops a professional ATS-friendly CV. So if you are applying for big companies who use applicant tracking software, this should hopefully be friendly for those and enable you to be more successful in your applications. You can also have templates for your CV once you've completed. I'll demonstrate that in a second. So along the top, you can see all the different areas that you can fill in. So your profile, your education. And again, there's some helpful tips and guidance for you to use when you're filling those in, as well as some extra information here about how you can make it really effective on your CV. Once you've completed that all, you've gone all the way through to either put your skills on, press download. Now you can then choose your template based on the sort of roles you're applying for. So whether you are going for entry-level roles or perhaps more experienced or technical roles, you can download a CV on the right template for you. So it should be really, really helpful tool. Now you might already have a CV or you might have downloaded your CV from the CV builder. Just want to run it through a few checks to find out more about it. If you go to My Tools, go to CV 360. CV 360 is a way that you can review your CV and to get a score based on how successful it is against certain tests that ATS systems use. And then you can tweak it and you can automatically find out more. So as you can see here, I scored 84% on my CV. So of the 58 checks, I passed 49 and I failed 9. Now you can view the feedback that my CV received. And it's broken down into these key areas: file, presentation structure, content skills, and language. So you can click on any of these. It'll give you a detailed information about the check that it has run and find out more about it, but also tell you why that's important as well. So make sure you really understand the key things that you're looking for on a CV and how you can make sure that your CV really reflects these things that are needed. The scores are instant as well, so that's really key. So once you have found these feedback and you've gone through and you've applied those changes to your CV, you can immediately re-upload it and get a new score, see how much your CV is improved or where you need to further develop and adjust some key areas. So that's CV 360. It's a great tool. You've got unlimited access to CV 360. Please use it as much as you like. It's under My Tools, CV 360. Cover letter builder. We know writing cover letter is quite often challenging and not exactly the most fun part of doing a job application, but this has a cover letter builder template that you can use to create your own. It's broken down into 4 key sections: interest, so why the job interests you, why you fit, some further detail, and the next steps you would like to see. Not only that, it gives you some examples and power words that you might want to use. So for example, we've got you can see the examples here appears. And if I click on power words, it gives you some really strong language that you can use to really emphasize your points and come across as really resilient and confident in your application. And again, once you get to the end, you're able to download that and use that in your applications. So under My Tools, Cover Letter Builder. So you've built a CV, that's great. You've had it reviewed by CV 360, you've passed all the tests and you've written an amazing cover letter. You've got yourself an interview. So you now will need our interview simulator tool. The interview simulator is a way that you can take a mock interview and really find out more about the way you deliver and answer certain questions, as well as getting yourself really prepared for certain questions that might come up in your application or in your interview. There's 2 ways you could do this. You can look at browse questions, which gives you access to our bank of questions that are available on certain things. So for example, one of the questions might be, who is the best boss you've ever had? You can view this and see what people think. Makes a good answer, makes a weaker answer, as well as getting that expert advice. Once you feel fully prepared, take that mock interview. You can either do it in 2 ways. You can use a pre-built one or create your own custom questions, or just go and watch some employer advice. So if you want to do a pre-built one, you then get the option of just doing an audio recording or a video recording. So you can actually use your webcam, record how you're answering those questions, and make sure you're getting full analysis over your delivery style, so you can then apply any changes that you would like when you're in the actual interview process. Again, you can do this as many times as you like, so make sure you are fully prepared for those roles and make sure that CMI has really helped you to get that position. So you've got the job. Congratulations, you passed your interview. You're about to start a new role. And you know that people are going to ask, oh, tell me about yourself. What do you do? What is it about you? You can use our CMI tools to build an elevator pitch. Now, an elevator pitch is about a 60-second or so summary to really tell the listener about yourself and about what you do. And the aim is that it's really good for networking situations, but also if you were stuck in a lift with someone and they said, oh, tell me about yourself, you've got until we get to the 25th floor of this very swanky office building for me to decide whether to give you a job or not. You've got a really snappy, strong answer that will inspire confidence in you, but also really demonstrate clearly exactly what you're looking for. To create your elevator pitch, you click on the elevator pitch button. There's, again, 4 sections for you to do. So it's who you are, what you do, why you're unique, your USPs, and your goals as well. So click on who you are. Again, we've got examples and power words available. So you can get a real example of a great who you are, as well as power words you might, again, want to use to develop or to demonstrate your confidence and your competence. So there's those tools that we've done through up to elevator pitch. Again, please do explore them and have a look. They're not just for people looking for jobs. It's always good to get your CV updated, to keep it really relevant with your CPD activity you're doing with CMI. But also that elevator pitch is a really helpful way to just sharpen some of those networking skills that you might be needing. One of the fun things I want to show is the assessment center tool. If you are applying for graduate schemes, the assessment center tool will be really helpful. So particularly big companies will use assessment centers as a way to filter candidates out. This goes through some sort of the key activities that you might find in a common assessment center and ways you can be successful. So these might be case studies, group exercises, icebreakers, informal assessments, or intro exercises. You can click on one of them and find out a bit more about them and how you can be really successful. Go back to the home page, you can then see example companies as well. So for example, I've applied to be on the graduate scheme at Harrods. A bit more information here about what that assessment centre actually looks like, as well as links to their graduate careers. So we've used our expertise and we've gone out and found out exactly what the process is for these companies. Find out about it, make sure you're really prepared so you've got the most chance of success when you're in that situation. There's lots of companies available to you, so please do have a look because there might be the one that you're applying to. We've got another link here just as a reminder to the CMI mentoring program. CMI gives you the opportunity to get mentoring as well. And this takes you back to the CMI members homepage where you'll be able to log in and find out more about our mentoring scheme to get more expertise, get that critical friend from within our CMI community. But also you might be interested in mentoring some of the next generation of our learners as well. We have both mentors and mentees through CMI. We have a job search tool. If you are looking for a new job, you've got the opportunity to search for jobs both in the UK and internationally as well. If you click on advanced, you can choose what country you would like those job search to be through or to be in, and a link back to Management Direct as well. So they should be some good tools for you. Hopefully this has been a really good overview into what the Career Development Centre does look like. If you go back to your dashboard, it's sort of the landing page for you. Please, I really would recommend you explore this, have a look and find some of the skills. It's really intuitive and really user-friendly and a great way for you to really make the most of that qualification that you've got and the resources that are available to you. Great, that's the Career Development Centre. Just going to go back to my slides. And we'll be able to continue with the presentation. Excellent. So there's other ways that CMI can really help with your employability. So we have the Future Leaders podcast as well. Now, this is a great way to demonstrate to potential employers or to maybe your own manager if you're staying within your organization that you are really aware of up-to-date or cutting-edge issues that affect managers and leaders. And the Future Leaders podcast really explores some of these and gives you some insight into our resources and our support and upcoming activity that can help you to make the most of your CMI membership. We have our Better Managers and our CPD newsletter. These comes with, again, more resources and insights articles to make sure that you're aware of issues, but some key tools that you can use to really sharpen your CV and your employability. So it might be that you are trying to develop some skills in a certain area, and look at your CPD newsletter because it might help you develop those skills. They're tailored, so whether you are a undergraduate trying to find a placement scheme, or you're an established manager who is thinking and reflecting upon their practice and thinking about their next steps, these are tailored to you to support and develop your skills at an appropriate level that you need. Also, we have our Better Managers briefing. This is a screenshot you can see from our Chief Executive Anne Franker's chat with Sir Charlie Mayfield, who was the former chair of John Lewis. Every Friday, Anne meets with a high-profile guest to have a talk to them about some of the issues that are affecting the workplace. Now, at the moment, a lot of these are around the coronavirus challenges that are being faced. But they've gone a whole range of topics from this week, which is how we supported companies with frontline workers and how they've continued to show innovation and leadership, all the way through to how to job hunt successfully in this time. So please do have a look. They're all available on our YouTube channel. We've got the links to that will come up at the end of the session. I guess the key thing to remember is that CMI are there to support you when you need us. We respond to these global events such as coronavirus, such as Brexit, to make sure that you have the right skills to navigate the challenges that you are going to face. So whether that is in your role as a manager, looking to get a new role, or trying to establish yourself in the workplace, we are there to make sure that you are the best manager that you can be. One way that we do this is through downloading our Better Managers manual, which is available through the Coronavirus Hub on our website. We're trying to support managers through this time into what will be the new normal. So make sure you're fully prepared with our guidance as to what this might look like and how you can support your teams to get there. And finally, once you've passed your qualification, you're a step closer to becoming a chartered manager. On completion of your course, you're likely to become eligible to become a foundation charter manager. And this is a pathway to becoming that full charter manager, getting that status that demonstrates your excellence in leadership and management. We'll work with you to develop your professional development while you are a foundation charter manager. So using our resources, such as the ones we've gone through on CDC, we've got the Management Direct, we've got our events and our communities through our regional hubs. We'll enable you to be the best manager that you can be. And once you've got that 3 or 5 years of management experience, you can then take the reflective assessment to demonstrate all the lessons you've learned and get that CMGR letters after your name. If you're doing an EPA, an endpoint assessment with CMI, this may be built in already as part of that process. And there's key reasons why you would do your charter manager assessment. You would get an average salary boost, as you can see, of £13,000 a year. You get a £62,000 boost to your company every year from charter managers, and the UK economy gets that £22,000 boost as well. So it really is demonstrated that impact to yourself, to the companies around you, and to wider UK productivity. So it'd be very much worthwhile. If you're eligible, please do explore chartered manager status. Here are all the ways you can stay in touch with CMI and find out more information. As I said, on YouTube, our webinars are available there for you. So please do have a look on there and find out more information and check out the sessions that have previously happened. And as we said, we are using PolEv one more time. So this is going to be a word cloud. So if you are able to go to polev.com/CMI events, again, whether that is on a second tab or on a second device, just type in some words that you feel are based upon what you have seen in this session so far. So based upon our career development and employability support, if you type some words in on that, that'd be really helpful. And while we're doing that, I can answer some of the questions that have come in from the audience, if that's okay, Claire. Are we able to do that now?
Yeah, we've had a couple of questions around people that are completed or in the process of completing level 7. So what's the next steps, basically, the shortest path to become chartered manager or PhD level? Okay, for sure. So to become a chartered manager, if you are at that level 7, I would recommend you go onto our website and you find out exactly what route would be applicable to you. So you've completed your CMI qualification. If you've got the right level of management experience, then there will be the right route for you. So that's when you've got 3 or 5 years, and then you can complete that reflective exercise and get that chartered status. We've actually been doing a webinar series on becoming a chartered manager. That's been taking place over the last couple of weeks as well. So I would recommend going to our YouTube channel and seeing the webinars we've got available about that. It's a great way to find out more about what the process is and exactly what the eligibility looks like. Thank you. We haven't actually got any other questions from today, so please do feel free to submit any. A question that came through pre the webinar taking place was, what are the main steps of Learner to Leader?
The main steps of Learner to Leader. So I think the best example of that is available through the snake diagram that we looked at earlier. So let me get that back up. It is previous. This one. So this is probably the best way to demonstrate what that Learner to Leader journey looks like. So step one, you might be a learner and you might have just graduated and you might be in your first job. Or you might be maybe going further through your career and trying to use your CMI qualification, your experience in a different way. The Learner to Leader is all about reflection for me. I think it's about reflection on the skills and development you've had, how you can improve as point two, and utilizing your CMI membership through things like Management Direct, our events and our resources to enable you to upskill yourself and to gain more experience and become that leader. It's about taking responsibility for your own development and where you identify certain gaps, making sure that you are able to fill them using the support of that CMI community that's around you.
Perfect. That's great. Thanks, Joe. Lots of really useful information there. We haven't had any other questions come through and we are pretty much out of time. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you, Joe, for a brilliant presentation. We will send you a follow-up email shortly today with links to the various pieces of information that Joe has mentioned. But yeah, thanks again for joining and enjoy the rest of your day.
Brilliant. Thank you.